Let's cover articulation marks and slurs. Articulations are just underneath the notes in the left panel, and they all have shortcuts just to the left of Enter on your keyboard. I always used to forget which of the square brackets was an accent and which one was staccato, so I have to remind myself that accent comes before staccato in the alphabet. The lower 4 articulations here are the same 4 keys, but with shift. You can input them before you input the notes, just like accidentals, they're sticky. So for instance, I could type 6 for a quarter, and then open square bracket for an accent, and then type my pitches. And then slurs work a bit like cheaplets. Type the note first, then click this button, or type S, and you won't see a slur until you type the next note. The slur will then keep extending until you hit Shift S. So S to start a slur, Shift S to stop a slur. If I'm copying music in, then quite often I'll do the notes and articulations and slurs in a single pass. But if I'm writing or arranging, then I don't really have the headspace for this, so I tend to do it after, outside of note input mode. You can click a whole measure on a staff, like this. Then I could make these staccato, for example, by hitting the end square bracket. Or if you want to select multiple bars in full, click the first and then shift-click the last. Or if you want to grab all the notes under a beam, just click the beam. You can also make a selection and then add to it or remove from it by holding down the Command key or the Control key on Windows and clicking the notes you want to add or exclude. Or you can draw a marquee selection. Now this one's dependent on the tools down here. You can toggle between them with H. Right now I've got the marquee tool selected, so if I draw a box I'm going to get a marquee. But if I hold down Shift I can get the hand tool. And that works in reverse too, so if you've hit H to get the hand tool, which is a toggle, then holding Shift will give you the marquee tool. For slurs, particularly if you're working with multiple voices, it can sometimes be easier to click the first note, then Command-click the last note, that's Control-click on Windows, then hit S. If you select a slur, you can move it right or left with Alt and the arrow keys, and you can extend it or retract it with Shift and Alt and the arrow keys. What you can't do in write mode is change the actual shape of a slur. There are some properties down here for different directions and so on, but if you're just trying to get a slur above to go below, or a slur below to go above, then rather than fiddling down here, you can just type F for flip.